I'm going to show you how to properly use the Multisizer ring sizing gauge. Ideally, if you were getting a ring, you would want to get it professionally sized multiple times by different people on different days and take the average. But with the pandemic, that's not really possible right now, so the Multisizer used properly will give you a pretty good idea of your ring size. One thing to pay attention to when using this is that you want to keep it as round as possible. Don't squish it into an oval shape. The reason for this is that metal rings are round and not flexible the way the sizer is. And since your fingers are not round but more oval shaped, if you squish the ring gauge into an oval shape, you will not get an accurate reading for a round ring. You'll want to loop this similar to a zip tie, but this one does not lock in place the way a zip tie does, so don't worry about getting it stuck on your finger. Then put it over your knuckle, pull it tight until you have a snug fit. Then push the gauge all the way down over your finger and see how it feels when it's on and note the size it's registering. When you take it off, try and rock it over your knuckle instead of pulling it straight off. So it's showing this finger at a size 6, and now I'm going to push it down to a 5.5 and put it back on again just to see if a 5.5 would fit better. So I put it on and then take it off over my knuckle and check the size again. And I can see that it moved back to a size 6, so that means a 5.5 is going to be too small. In general, you want a ring to slide on fairly easily and take some effort to come off. You don't want it to feel like it's going to fly off, and you also don't want it to feel like it's going to get stuck. Though at a size 6, when I put it back and forth over my knuckle, I don't feel as much resistance as I'd like. So in this width, I would go with a 5 3/4. Something to note is that each width and style of ring will fit a little differently. And since your wedding or engagement ring is worn every day on the same finger, it's really important to get the fit dialed in so that it's comfortable and you won't lose it. That's why it's really common for a wedding or engagement ring to be resized at least once. The ring gauge is 5 millimeters wide, and the wider the ring is, the tighter it will fit. So if you're getting a ring that is narrower than this gauge, you may want to size down a quarter to a half size. And if you're getting a ring wider than this gauge, you may want to size up a quarter or more, depending on how wide the band is. Also, a ring with a rounded or a comfort fit interior is going to slide over your knuckle easier than one that has a flat interior. So depending on how much of a comfort fit it has, you might not want to size up quite as much as if you had one that had a flat interior. So keep that in mind when you're deciding on a ring size. Lastly, weather, diet, and time of day can affect your ring size, sometimes changing it up to a half size. So that's why I recommend checking your size several times over a few days at different times of the day, and then determine your average. If you need a bit more guidance, you can set up a video ring size consultation after you receive your Multisizer, and we can help you determine what size ring to order from us. And as I mentioned before, it's really typical to have a wedding or engagement ring resized at least once at some point to get that fit really dialed in. And our rings without stones come with one free resize up to a half size up or down, and most rings with stones can be resized for a fee.